Did you know that 67% of Americans would rather talk about almost anything else besides money? Yet, financial stress impacts over 70% of us daily. Today, we're unpacking money conversations and the practical tips you can use right away. Because everyone deserves financial freedom, and your transformation starts now. I'm coming to you from the Flinders Ranges in South Australia. Stay tuned and I'll explain how I got here. Let's get into it. So what exactly is money talk? It's those conversations we desperately need, but often avoid. Discussing salary with co-workers, splitting bills with our roommates, managing our finances with our partner, and even internally acknowledging your own financial realities. But if we want to improve our circumstances, awareness is the key to change. Money isn't just a number on the screen. It's deeply emotional, tied to our sense of security, success, and even self-worth. Think about it. We spend roughly 90,000 hours of our lives working, and yet we barely spend any time learning how to talk about it effectively. I discovered this disconnect in my own life when discussing aged care for my father-in-law's personal well-being. As he's become older and more frail, we have concerns about his health. And when we discuss healthcare options, he gets very upset with us, partly because he doesn't want to go into an aged care facility, and partly because I don't think he can afford it, which would mean that he'd have to sell the family home to pay for it. That moment made me realize that mastering money talk isn't optional anymore. It's essential for our relationships, our mental health, and our financial futures. So why is talking about money so darn difficult? Well, first, there's this cultural taboo. We're taught from childhood that discussing money is impolite and inappropriate. How many times have you heard, "Don't ask someone how much that cost," or witnessed adults suddenly whispering when money comes up? Second, money conversations trigger vulnerability. When we discuss finances, we're exposing a part of ourselves that we usually keep hidden. Our habits, our priorities, fears, and sometimes even our mistakes. Third, money talk brings into play power dynamics. Whether it's negotiating a salary, discussing inheritance with family, or figuring out who pays for what in a relationship, these conversations reveal and sometimes challenge existing power structures. And finally, most of us simply lack vocabulary and practice. We don't have models for healthy money conversations because they happen behind closed doors. It's like being expected to speak a language we've never been taught. During my week-long experience of mastering money talk, I discovered 5 key strategies that completely changed my approach. Strategy number 1, start with yourself. Before you can have productive money conversations with others, you need clarity on your own relationship with money. I spent the first day journaling about my money beliefs, examining where they come from, and identifying my triggers around financial discussions. Try this exercise. Write down 3 money messages you received growing up and how they might be affecting your conversations today. For example, I realized my parents' frequent arguments about spending made me conflict avoidant when discussing expenses with my partner. Strategy number 2. Use the right framing and timing. The way you initiate money conversations dramatically affects their outcome. Avoid ambush discussions. For example, "We need to talk about our debt right now." And instead, scheduled money dates with clear agendas. Consider saying something like, "I'd like to talk about how we're handling our household expenses. Would Saturday morning over coffee work for you?" This gives everyone time to prepare emotionally and practically. Number 3, create psychological safety. Money talk requires trust. Practice using I statements instead of accusational language. Compare "you always spend too much money on takeaway" versus "I feel concerned when our food budget exceeds what we had planned." Another powerful technique is same-side positioning, framing the conversation as us versus the problem rather than me versus you. This subtle shift turns potential confrontation into collaborative problem solving. Strategy number 4, focus on goals, not just the numbers. The most productive money conversations connect finances to deeper values and aspirations. When discussing budget cuts with my roommate, focusing on our shared goals of eventually buying our own place completely changed the energy of the conversation. This mindset shift helps frame money conversations around the long-term goals rather than short-term transactions. What would feeling financially secure allow you to do that you can't do now? These value-based discussions build understanding and motivation. Strategy number 5, develop a regular practice. Like any skill, money talk improves with consistent practice. By day 7 of my challenge, I had established a weekly money check-in with myself and a monthly money conversation with the key people in my life. Start small, perhaps with less emotionally charged topics like reviewing a subscription service that you share before tackling those bigger issues. Fortunately for me, my parents have always been really good when it comes to communicating about money. Recently, they decided to sell their 6-unit block investment properties for their retirement. Before they did this, we had some really great discussions about the opportunity cost of selling versus keeping those properties. What else could they do with that money? They also discussed their opportunity cost ideas with their accountant, who was very supportive of their decision and offered some other ideas for them to consider. When my parents made their decision to sell their properties, they let me know what was happening every step of the way. They've even given me and my sister their accountant's details. With my parents, there is no discomfort when it comes to having talk about financial challenges because we're open and supportive of one another. If we were to have the same conversation with my father-in-law, it would be a very different discussion. He keeps his cards very close to his chest. In my experience, avoiding difficult money conversations often hurts both parties. Money talk may be less painful than the consequences of avoidance. My friend Sarah recently experienced a breakthrough moment with her own family. She'd been avoiding an inheritance conversation with her aging parents for months. She told me that she had catastrophized this conversation for so long, imagining awkward silences and hurt feelings. But armed with these strategies we've discussed today, she approached it differently. She scheduled it thoughtfully, created a safe environment by sharing her own feelings first, and framed it around their shared values of family security and peace of mind. What happened next stunned her. Not only was the conversation productive, but her parents expressed profound relief. They had wanted to discuss these matters for years, but didn't know how to approach it. Sarah's mother actually said, I've been losing sleep over how to bring this up without seeming morbid. This powerful moment taught Sarah that avoiding difficult money conversations often hurts both parties. The discomfort of having the talk is almost always less painful than the consequences of avoidance. So, what have we learned about mastering money talk? First, the skills of discussing money effectively isn't just for financial advisors or business negotiations. It's a fundamental life skill that affects our most important relationships. Second, the biggest barrier to effective money conversations are really financial literacy issues. They're emotional and communication challenges that require intentional practice to overcome. Third, when we master money talk, we unlock beliefs far beyond our bank accounts. We build deeper trust in our relationships, reduce anxiety about the future, and gain confidence in our financial decision making. Once you recognize your patterns around money conversations, you can transform them. This is why awareness is the key to change. My challenge to you is simple. Choose one money conversation you've been avoiding and apply these strategies within the next week. Start with self-reflection, frame it thoughtfully, create psychological safety, connect it to a deeper goal, and remember that practice makes progress. I told you earlier I'd let you know how I got here. Well, if you are interested in my financial journey, refer to the previous episode. I'll link it down below for easy reference. As far as how we physically got here, my husband and I have been living on the road for the last 3 years. And all started with a Suzuki Swift and a two-man tent. Last year we bought a van and we renovated it. And then about 5 months ago, we left Queensland before finding ourselves here at the beautiful Flinders Ranges. So, if you are interested in learning a little bit more about how we live our lives, we have a YouTube channel called Life with No Anchor, where you can see a little bit about our van renovation, touring around Australia, and you get to see some of these beautiful places and a little bit about how we live van lifestyle. So if you're new to my channel or returning for some fresh insights, welcome. I'm glad you're here. I'd love to hear about your experiences with money conversations. What strategies have worked for you? What conversations have you been avoiding? Share your thoughts in the comments below. For additional resources, be sure to check out the show notes. There are links and helpful templates like my financial fitness tracker and financial terms glossary. Until next time, I'm Christine, coming from you from the beautiful Flinders Ranges in South Australia. Thank you for committing to a life of freedom and abundance through financial literacy. Remember, money might be complicated, but talking about it doesn't have to be. This has been Mastering Money Talk on the Change Curve.